This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to continue our Dreadnok week with Road Pig and Raucous. This is a deluxe figure set, and Road Pig there has pretty much a whole new body sculpt, which is kind of interesting because I don't think there's any other figure that they have that would reuse any of those parts except for another Road Pig. Which, by the way, I believe there's two of them in the original run of G.I. Joe, so that is a possibility. On the side of the box, we see Road Pig and Ruckus on the back here. And Road Pig's wearing a mask from the package, which I believe that is new for classified. On the back, we see him at a gas station with a cinder block hammer, which, if you've ever lifted up a cinder block, that is an impressive feat right there. Also, I find it funny and adorable that there's a little teddy bear in the background with him. I don't think the teddy bear comes in the package. I guess it could be a dog toy. And the other side, has our usual crap. Let's go ahead and open this sucker up. No teddy bear. And kind of like before, it's a shame they didn't give us a Dreadnok specific background. This dude comes with a lot of stuff considering that he's like 100% new sculpt. Let's go ahead and take a look at his head here first. Unique head sculpt. His earring kind of looks like a key hanging from his ear. He's got this like little red stripe back there with a eraser head hairstyle. But here's like the standard sculpt for him. We have an angry sculpt. That's the same thing, only showing his mouth wide open and his eyebrows raised in anger. And you can see he's missing teeth, or a tooth at least. But wait, there is the third head. And although this does look like it should be a helmet, it is not. It is actually looks like it's a full head. However, what's really fascinating here is the ball joint looks like it's too small for him, for the smaller than the regular head sculpt here. Okay, we can still get it on though. And maybe the reason why it's smaller is because of the head design. They wanted it to be tighter. But I just wanted to check that. Let's put on his angry face. So we do get two fists for him. So he can do a lot of punching. We have a handheld hook here that looks pretty much like something out of a horror movie. And that's just it. This isn't just like a meat or ice hook like you would see in a movie. This definitely looks like a custom made weapon for this dude. Surprisingly, he comes with a riot shield. Although I'm looking at this part right here, which obviously would go onto his wrist, and because he's got those thicker arms, that seems a little too big. Um, I think this may have come originally with the original Shockwave, the blue version. So this actually probably was not designed specifically for this guy, and thus this could probably break if you try to put it on him. But we'll try it anyway. So it looks like the shield will hook up here, which yeah, that definitely is very tight. I wonder if we... Yeah, that shield really doesn't work well with this guy. I'm going to take his arm off. Yeah, You see how it connects there? It's not a very good connection. Uh, this is one of the issues sometimes with the reused parts, I think, is when you have something that is designed for a figure that's not quite the same size. So I'm going to assume we're not going to get much use out of this unless we just have his hand hooked onto this. He does come with this little like tusk mask, gas mask thing to go with a Mad Max feel, I would assume. Kind of like that, which I assume you're really going to have to do with the head off and then put the head on the body afterwards. Here is that cinder block mace or hammer. It is actually fairly heavy for a toy too. We have a very stylized pig hammer. I think getting hit with the other side of this is going to hurt. And we have Raucous here, which is basically mostly a reuse of Junkyard from the Mutton Junkyard pack. His joints are really tight though. Uh, the head itself is new, and he's got two of them, which is kind of funny when you think about it, the way these heads look. Oh, doggo. So basically, he's got a neutral expression here. And he's got a slightly angry expression here. I don't know. I guess it is an angry face, but I would have expected the jaws to be more open for that. And if you were wondering, no, you cannot swap the heads with the Joe figure. Although, I wonder. That's the closest you get to one that'll fit on it. I know, I need help. So, Rockets' articulation, of course, we've got the ball joint at the head, and there's enough giveaway to kind of have him look up and down. There is a hinge here at the neck at the base of the body. You can also turn that if you want. You have his shoulder goes up and down forward. Another ball joint, really. So you kind of go out also. So you got out and around. You can't really spin it up because of the way the shoulder is designed. You do have an elbow area here, which is very tight on this figure. And you have uh, wrist, I guess, if you want to call it that, and finger. So the paw and the I don't know what you would call that part. I don't know animal anatomy good enough. I do like though that they did paint the pads of his feet. But yeah, you've got actually a pretty fair amount of articulation there on the front. He's got a waist swivel, which is hilarious. And it's on a ball joint too. So if you want, you can do that little thing where the dog kind of like shakes its ass as it walks. And then of course, we can actually get a full spin on the back leg. Not as much hindering it. Again, another ball joint, so you can also move it out. Same flex with the knee, except for once again, joints are fused on figure, and I can't work it loose at the moment. We also still have the hinge here, and we have a hinge at the bottom and a spin. So in all reality, it's Raucous is actually pretty well articulated like a regular G.I. Joe figure, just in dog form. Road Pig himself. Oh, I don't have a head on him anymore. Road Pig himself, however, he does have the chicken neck, and actually his neck at the base there does move more than a lot of the other figures have recently. And we saw before, it is just kind of a loose ball joint here. No hinge up there like some of the previous figures have had. We can spin his head all around. Surprisingly, the mask doesn't hinder it much. and he can look up and down. The arms hinge up. In this case, the shoulder armor does kind of interfere a little bit. I mean, it can move out of the way. It just lifts off the rest of the armor. Um, he does have a butterfly joint, and actually, surprisingly, moves well. Lots of tattoos, by the way. Oh, that's supposed to be a chain there. We have a bicep cut, as per usual. I'm honestly impressed that it looks like they managed to deco this chain around his arm as a tattoo and actually have it look like a solid piece. I'm not really sure what that tattoo is supposed to be. Skull of some sort? Or is it a skull wearing a mask? Anyway, he's got double jointed elbows. Gets a semi decent closure on there. Little skull there. I wonder if that's actually supposed to be a real human skull, though. He has a boob cut. And in this case, he does got the boobs. Unfortunately, there's a huge difference between the plastic on his body and his torso. So his chest area just has such a way different looking plastic, and that's kind of off-putting and looks weird. He does have a crossbow on his wrist gauntlet there, and he's got plenty of bolts on there too. That's kind of cool. It's a little too bad they didn't give us like the bolts to actually attach there, and it is smaller than Scarlet's. This dude's got lots of ammo for it though. A bunch. There's like 4 here, 4 there, and 4 more here. He does have the waist joint. He's got this big tattoo that I still have absolutely no idea what it says. You know, we have the same problem we do with a lot of these more detailed tattoos. Once in production, the ink just is too thick to give you a really good look at it. Um, he still has drop down hips. Surprisingly, he does have a thigh cut too. I was not expecting it to have it. It hides really well in the plastic though. We can kick up about that far. Basically no back kick. He doesn't have ass cheeks. We have the double joint at the knee still. We have a boot cut. We have a hinge up and down on the ankle and the spin. I think he's the first Dreadnok not to come with a knife, too. This little butchering handle thing is not going to fit very well in his hand either, I don't think. Yeah, it's not a good fit. You basically need to try to get the trigger finger off to the side like that to have it hold it. Overall, I don't think Road Pig here is a bad figure. I think, though, that this was a bad choice. If they wanted to give him a riot shield of some sort, they should have made a personal one for him. Because if you try to do this on him too many times, or heck, even maybe the first time if you really push it, you're going to break that. The second head here is pretty cool looking. I also like the mask too. This is going to be a tough decision for how to have him displayed, I think. There's so many options, and I'm not buying a second one right now. If I find him on clearance, I might buy a second one of this guy just for the different for. This head would definitely be a second head if it's not the first one. Chances are, though, I am going to use one of these 2 heads for my main display and might add the other head to it later. Doggo is cute. You can't go wrong with the animal companions. This knee pad is kind of weird looking, and I imagine that actually trying to kneel on it if you have to put a knee down for whatever reason, isn't going to go over well. But he's not a bad figure. There were two versions of him released back in the 80s, the standard one and the Sonic Fighter one. I have both cards here ready to go for this one because I guess I shouldn't say I doubt they'll do a re-release because they'd almost need to just because they created this body and there's no other version to do. But let's take a look anyway. Road Pig, Dreadnok. File name, DeLuca Donald. Birthplace, Go Blue, Michigan. Arrest record, speeding, reckless endangerment, littering, assault, grand theft auto, usury, felony, usury? I don't know what that is. Felony spitting, petty bribery, passing stopped school buses at high speeds. This is kind of lame, to be perfectly honest with you. It seems like they're trying to be funny with most of those. When Road Pig was born, the doctor held him up and said, "This is the ugliest looking baby I have ever seen." He was expelled from kindergarten for milk money extortion and dishonorably discharged from the Cub Scouts. After being kicked out of a low-life outlaw gang for smelling worse than was acceptable even by their standards, he joined the Dreadnoks as a probationary member. They're having a hard time making up their minds about this one. Ugly, they banned him from football games because he stopped the clock. His mother had to tie a pork chop around his neck so the dog would play with him. He went to visit the Empire State Building and he got strafed. I tell you, beauty may be only skin deep, but ugly goes clean to the bone. I have no idea what straft means either. Yeah, this file card for the original figure just sounds like they just wanted to throw in a bunch of jokes. His Sonic Fighters one, though, however, we're still back to the Road Pig Dreadnok, the DeLuca Donald, and Go Blue, Michigan. The only Dreadnok to have ever gone through a probationary period, Road Pig is extremely obnoxious even by Dreadnok standards. This guy pushes the needle to red on the evil meter. I mean, we're talking low on the food chain and high on the nasty list. No one knows for sure how Road Pig obtained his intercooled incendiary burst flamethrower and the 44-inch XM 1919 A10 fully automatic blowback machine gun. Suffice it to say, the guy he borrowed them from isn't around to talk about it anymore. Gross. You could say that. Road Pig doesn't drink orange soda and eat nutritious and yummy chocolate-covered donuts like other Dreadnoks. He subsists entirely on a diet of barbecue-flavored fried pork rinds, fast food burritos, frozen corn dogs, and stale baseball card bubblegum. Once a year, when he brushes his teeth, he has to use industrial tub cleaner instead of toothpaste. Overall, he's a pretty cool figure. I don't like how badly they screwed up on the plastic match, though, for the torso, or the top of the torso and the bottom of the torso. And not only that, but his boobies are shiny there. That's just a terrible match. It's actually worse than the quick kick was, I think. But other than that, I actually do rather like this figure. I kind of hope they give us a Sonic Fighters version with flamethrower and machine gun. Probably won't get Doggo with it again, though. But I kind of want to know what you think of this one. I think he's been kind of one of those figures that a lot of people don't actually like very well. I've seen, although I haven't actually watched any of the videos, I've seen pop up in my feed. A lot of people are restyling this guy to try to look more like the original toy, I think it was. The hammer thing twists around a bit too there. I think the first thing most people have been doing is like removing the belly tattoo, actually. What is that, a reverse tramp stamp? It's kind of too bad they didn't give him an actual tramp stamp. Overall, I like him. I can see, though, that people's complaints about this are kind of are valid. And he does come with some pretty cool head changes, though. Shit. that head sculpt, man, that actually is pretty cool, that mask version. It's so tough to decide how to display this guy. I really kind of want to use his regular head first, and then, if I get a second one of these guys really cheap, just go ahead and put a second one up there with that head. Or hopefully, like I said, they do have the option of creating a second version in the Sonic Fighter color, so that would also give us a chance to reuse the or use a separate head again. But I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please feel free to subscribe and give a like to the video. Thanks for watching. Peace and love. I tell you, beauty may be only been skeep.
Action! We're cold, Slither, you'll be joining us soon. A band of vipers playing our tune. With an iron fist and erectile hiss, we shall rule.
What is that idiot doing?
You've heard it before. We're not gonna play the game no more. Now tell us what's right.
They are animals.
To them to resist, cause Cobra is strong.
Oh my goodness, we're going way over budget. Barbarians!
And the little machine.
No, no, no! Cut, cut!